The November 16th, 2020 regular meeting of the Gardner City Council will come to order. The clerk will please call the roll.
Councilor Boone?
Present.
Thank you. Councilor Boudreau?
Present.
Councilor Craig Cormier?
Present.
Councilor Ronald Cormier?
Present.
Councilor Dernalowitz?
Present.
Councilor Graves?
Present.
Councilor Hardern?
Present.
Councilor Mack?
Present.
Councilor Tyros?
Present.
Councilor Walsh?
Present.
President Kaczynskis?
Present. Please. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please rise to recite the opening prayer and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Almighty God, we thank Thee for bringing us together this evening. Inspire us to worthy deeds and sound decisions, and direct us toward the attainment of good city government. We pray Thee to bless and protect all the people of our city, and to so guide and inspire us that we may deliberate in unity and harmony. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Announcement of open meeting recordings. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Gardner City Council will be conducted via remote participation and broadcast live on Gardner Educational Television Channel 8 and Gardner City Hall's YouTube channel. The audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings will be posted on the city's website as soon as possible after the meeting. Just a reminder, since this meeting is being conducted via Zoom, there will be a roll call vote on all motions. And if you'd like to be recognized, please raise your hand in front of your camera and I'll recognize you by calling on you, and then you may proceed. Reading of minutes of prior meetings. We'll begin with the reading and approval of the minutes of our November 2nd, 2020 regular meeting. Councilor Cormier.
Madam President, I make a motion that we waive the reading of those minutes. We accept them as presented.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Councilor Ron Cormier, seconded by Councilor Walsh to waive the reading of the minutes and accept them as presented. Is there a discussion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Councilor Boone?
Yes.
Councilor Boudreau?
Yes.
Councilor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Councilor Ronald Cormier?
Yes.
Councilor Dernalowitz?
Yes.
Councilor Graves?
Yes.
Councilor Hardern?
Yes.
Councilor Mack?
Yes.
Councilor Tyros?
Yes.
Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
President Kaczynskis?
Yes.
11 yeas.
The motion carries. There are no public hearings. Communications from the mayor. There is an appointment number 10359. A measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Deborah Pond to the position of Human Resources Director for a term expiring October 26, 2023. Before I ask for a report from the Finance Committee, I would like to ask Mayor Nicholson if he would like to speak to this appointment.
Thank you very much, Madam President, for the time to speak today in this meeting. I just wanted to reiterate what was said at the Finance Committee meeting. Director Pond is one of our most dedicated employees that we have working here in the city. She continues to perform the duties of her office to the utmost professional and effective and efficient manner. Throughout the course of this past year alone, with the 4 individuals who have held the office of the mayor, either in the elected or acting capacity, she has been one of the few players that's been just the glue that's helped keep things together throughout those transitions. Even prior to that too, many people don't realize she has a background as a paralegal. So even through dealing with the employees, through the complicated issues that come with being a personnel manager, she continues to help almost act as a gatekeeper before issues arise to help our employees work through those matters. And then given everything that happened this year with different offices going to different hours with the shutdown or different things happening with the school, as she oversees both the city departments and the school district employment matters. She's gone above and beyond her duties in all of her matters. And even since I've started here in July in the office of mayor, she's been one of the greatest helps that I've had here. So I very enthusiastically put forth the appointment for Ms. Pond for her reappointment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Nicholson. Report from the Finance Committee.
Report of the,
Councilor Walsh?
yes, the report of the Finance Committee is unanimously favorable for many of the reasons that the mayor has indicated. This is, as you mentioned, Madam President, this is a reappointment. Ms. Pond has been in the service of the city in this position for 18 years. We learned here in the Finance Committee meeting, and I think we're fortunate to have someone with the skill and commitment and professionalism in that position. I move that we confirm her appointment.
Second the appointment.
Motion made by Councilor Walsh, seconded by Councilor Ron Cormier to confirm the mayor's appointment of Deborah Pond to position of Human Resources Director for term expiring October 26, 2023. Is there discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Councilor Vu,
Yes.
Councilor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Councilor Craig Cormier,
Yes.
Councilor Ronald Cormier,
Yes.
Councilor Donalowitz,
Yes.
Councilor Graves,
Yes.
Councilor Hardern,
Yes.
Councilor Mack,
Yes.
Councilor Tyros,
Yes.
Councilor Walsh,
Yes.
President Kazinskas,
Yes.
11 yeas.
The motion passes. Petitions, applications, communications, etc. There are none. Reports of standing committees. Public Welfare Committee, Councilor Donalowitz.
Thank you, Madam President. As we had the joint hearing with the Planning Board this evening, right now we're going to be waiting for the final report from the Planning Board. And at that point, once the council gets that, Public Welfare will schedule a meeting. So at this point, I'd like to ask for more time.
Thank you, Councilor Donalowitz. The committee will be granted more time if there are no objections. The committee will be granted more time. Committee of the Whole, item 10342, a measure declaring surplus for purpose of disposition, a parcel of land off Woodland Avenue, parcel R27-2-8B. This item, along with item number 10343, a measure authorizing the mayor to lift the deed restrictions to land deeded to Henry Haywood Hospital recorded on March 26, 1998, are both items where we had requested to see the lease. And since we did receive an update today via email to all the city councilors on these items from Mayor Nicholson, but have not yet received the completed lease. So if there are no objections, the committee will be granted more time on items the committee of the whole will be granted more time on items 10342, 10343, and they will remain on the calendar.
Madam President,
Mayor Nicholson?
I just wanted to reiterate what was said before regarding this item. If any of the councilors do have any questions that they'd like answered from any of the parties involved in this project, please do feel free to let me know. I fielded questions from 2 councilors so far off to Haywood. While you can certainly reach out directly if there's any way my office can help, please let me know. And I just wanted to reiterate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Nicholson. So item number 10342 and item number 10343 will remain on the calendar and we will have more time. Councilor Graves?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Since the mayor wanted to contribute that information, I will point out that I don't know if I was one of the councilors that the mayor's referring to that sent communications on this topic, but I did send out some emails to the mayor and other people on October 2nd and October 5th. Got no response whatsoever from them. So I don't know what the mayor means by contacting him to get more information, because I got nothing. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Unfinished business and matters for reconsideration. Item number 10305, a petition by Traven Development LLC to renew the designation of 2 parcels at 525 Parker Street as a development overlay District 1. This, as we had a public hearing earlier this evening, and as Councilor Donalowitz said during the Public Welfare Committee report, at this point, the hearing has been completed. The Planning Board will meet and give the City Council their final report and recommendation. And then the Public Welfare Committee will meet and make their recommendation to the City Council. So this item will remain on the calendar if there are no objections to that at this time. Moving on to item number 10357, an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 171 thereof, entitled Personnel, to change compensation schedule Exhibit E, non-union employees. This was ordered to first printing on November 2nd, 2020, and went to first printing on November 6th, 2020. So we've met all of the, November 6th, 2020. So we've met all of the time designations that we need to meet in order to move this item forward if we so choose. And is there a motion to pass the ordinance?
Motion to send it to its second and final printing.
Second.
Motion made by Councillor Ron Cormier, seconded by Councillor Craig Cormier to move the ordinance to its second and final printing. Is there discussion? Councillor Walsh?
As I indicated at our last meeting, when the ordinance amendment was passed to a first printing, I had some reservations about certain aspects of the ordinance. As we all know, this ordinance amendment addresses the salaries of non-union personnel, including all department heads, and that adjustment for their salaries is in the amount of 2%, with one exception, and that's in the position of fire chief. In the fire chief, it's proposed the position would receive as proposed by the mayor and passed to a first printing, would receive what amounts to a 6.65% increase. When this matter was before the Finance Committee, the mayor explained that the reason for that significant increase in the salary for the position was that it needed to be done that way in order to attract what he felt would be necessary to attract qualified candidates. So a 6.5% or over 6.5% increase was necessary for that purpose. And I take him as that. The quarrel I have with the way it was presented is that it is retroactive, as all of the raises are and should be retroactive to July 1st, when the new fiscal year started. And it didn't make sense to me that the now retired fire chief, who retired as of September 30th, would have the benefit of a 6.5% increase rather than the 2% increase that the rest of the department heads and all of the non-union personnel received. Excuse me. My daughter was calling her mother. So I have submitted a proposed amendment to the ordinance schedule that would substitute for the that which is currently there, a 2% increase effective July 1st of 2020 for the position, and a further increase effective January 1st of 2021. And the reason I chose January 1st, 2021 for the effective date of the new salary is that I've learned that the position has not yet been posted or advertised. As you know, there's currently a vacancy in that position. It hasn't been posted or advertised, and the reason given was that the mayor and the human resource director apparently decided that they should wait until this ordinance was passed so that an accurate salary could be posted with the advertisement. That makes sense. So in order to get it advertised and reviewed and filled, I felt the January 1st made some sense because there wasn't another date I could provide. But it seems to be a timeline that makes sense. So for these reasons, and I think that my primary concern is fairness to the rest of the non-union personnel, particularly the department heads. what do we tell them if we're giving them 2%, but a person that hasn't even come to the job yet is going to get, or a person who's retired now is going to get a 6.5% increase as of the same date, at least until such time as his retirement date was effective. It just didn't seem fair to me. But I feel at the same time, we should be fair to the now retired fire chief, and he should get the 2% that everybody else was getting. I have no quarrel with the fire chief, the retired fire chief. I think he had many years of dedicated service to the fire department, did by all accounts a good job. But it just didn't seem fair to the other non-union personnel that they should be treated different, that this position and a retired person should be treated substantially different than by a factor of over 3, treated differently from the rest of the non-union personnel. So I move, Madam President, that the position of fire chief, the listed sum of $100,000 effective July 1st, 2020 be stricken, and that the amount effective July 1st, 2020 for the annual amount be $96,592.72 with a weekly amount of $1,857.55 and effective January 1st, 2021 an annual amount of $101,000 and a weekly amount of $1,942.31.
I'll second that.
Motion made to amend by Councillor Walsh and seconded by Councillor Ron Cormier. Is there discussion on the motion to amend? Councillor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to make the council aware of some information that I requested on this matter from the mayor's office. The breakdown between total retroactive pay amount from the proposed rate increase of 6% is $7,079.11. The amendment proposal of 2% would be $2,127.77 retroactive payout, for a difference of $4,951.33 between rates. And while I understand and appreciate the reasoning for this proposed amendment to the ordinance, I do think another factor we should consider is the way this previous chief went above and beyond for our city, most recently as oversight in management and the implementation of the ambulance services for the city, which was not in his job description at the time he accepted the role of chief, yet is one of the responsibilities we list in discussing the many reasons this role has and does need a substantial salary increase, which is why I believe the original ordinance proposal is deserved and we'll be voting against this proposed amendment. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Ron Cormier?
Yes, as a member of the Finance Committee that was on the prevailing side to propose the ordinance in its form as not amended, I will not be supporting this amendment, even though I did second it in regards to my distinguished colleague, Mr. Walsh, to place it on the council floor. The reason I won't be supporting it is there has always been a significant disparity between the police chief's salary and the fire chief's salary, particularly in light, as Councilor Tyros has pointed out, the increase in responsibilities of the fire chief's department. This is an opportunity to negate some of that difference that we've seen. The two departments, our two largest public safety departments, are comparable in size and certainly in responsibilities. Therefore, at this time, I can't support the amendment, but I would support the increase in salary and obviously for the need of it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further discussion? Councillor Graves?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to support the amendment. I pretty much agree with everything Councilor Walsh said. And I hope somebody corrects me if I'm wrong. I believe the 6% salary increase will be moving forward into perpetuity in terms of what the retirement is going to be for the former fire chief. So I hope somebody can correct me if that's not correct, which means that it's a lot more than a couple $1,000. It's a lot more than that. And I'm always leery about spending. I'm sitting here spending other people's money. I'm spending the taxpayers' money tonight. I hate doing that. I wish I didn't have to spend the taxpayers' money at all, but it is a city. And as a city, we have to have an infrastructure, and we don't have an infrastructure without our public safety organizations, the two main ones obviously being the fire department and the police department, which we all cherish and respect and honor and thank and commend and appreciate. But we have to remember that we're using the citizens' checkbooks when we do these things. So it's not really about the former fire chief was great. I mean, talk about a loyal servant and well-liked and just a wonderful person and a key employee of the city for years and years. But we've said it often before. We're not doing this about the person. It's for the position that we're voting to increase the salary for. And so based on that, we have a bigger problem. We know that we've lost so many firefighters. They come in and we train them. They go to the fire department training, and then they get on the force, and then they move on almost right away. We've lost several people in the last, I don't know, year or two. And I asked why, and the chief told me it's because the firefighters' salary is not high enough, and that they go elsewhere because the firefighters elsewhere are getting paid higher. So our bigger problem is that we have to find money to pay our firefighters more money. So, you know, we have to be careful again with what we're doing here. And I agree with Councilor Walsh's amendment, and I will support it. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Graves. Any further discussion? Councilor Mack?
Yes, hi. I'm also going to be supporting this amendment. And like the previous counselor said, it's not about the person. It's about what's right for the department heads as a whole in this city. If one person gets a 6.5% increase, then all department heads should. But also getting back to what Councilor Graves said, across the board, the city salary scale really needs to be looked at and revised, because it really should be a step system based on years of experience and your education. And, you know, I don't know many jobs that, you know, you start in your entry salary is what somebody who's been there for 46 years leaves at. It makes absolutely no sense. But on the other hand, when you apply for the job, you know what it's going to pay. And, you know, kudos to the previous chief. He was a truly dedicated servant. But I think as a whole, the entire union and non-union employee scales in the city really are overdue for some revision, because, you know, there are a lot of people in this city that are being, you know, underpaid. The fire, the police. Absolutely. I totally agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mack. Councilor Boone?
Thank you, Madam President. I think Councilor Graves and Councilor Mack and of course Councilor Walsh, they did explain exactly the reasoning, and we're not, you know, I think our retired fire chief did a fabulous job. And Councilor Tyros, you bring up some points about the ambulance service and should that have deserved more pay? Maybe. But just as Councilor Mack put, and my other fellow councilors, I'm going to support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? Councilor Walsh?
Second time, and briefly, Councilor Mack points out something that we in the Finance Committee, in dealing with the issue of step systems, brought up with the former elected mayor on numerous occasions over the course of several years. And we were told on various occasions that it was on his desk, that it was being looked at, that it would be presented. Subsequently, asking about it because it wasn't presented, we were told that it was hard and difficult, and that may be true, but it certainly is something that we on the Finance Committee have been trying to establish for some period of time, going back to when the salary study was done. It started then. And that was, I believe, in 2015 or 16. So it's a longstanding issue, one that I agree with Councilor Mack should be addressed. And I absolutely concur with Councilor Tyros' point that that the position maybe should have been addressed on a prior occasion. It wasn't. The chief accepted the position and continued in the position at the salaries that were posted and passed. And the question to me becomes, what do we say to the other non-union personnel? You know, if you put in 47 years of service and then you retire, they'll get a bigger retroactive pay than everybody else that's still working? That doesn't make sense to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Any further discussion on the motion to amend? Councilor Ron Cormier?
Just briefly, if we've had a step system in place, this discussion would not be taking place tonight.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Please bear with me just 1 second. I want to get Councilor Cormier's comments down, please.
Councilor Walsh?
This is on the motion to amend, correct?
Correct. This is on the motion to amend.
Thank you. Okay, I'm ready now. Thank you. Councilor Boone?
Yes.
Councilor Boudreau?
Yes.
Councilor Craig Cormier?
No.
Councilor Ronald Cormier?
No.
Councilor Donalowitz?
Yes.
Councilor Graves?
Yes.
Councilor Harder?
Yes.
Councilor Mack?
Yes.
Councilor Tyros?
No.
Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
President Kaczynskis?
Yes.
8 yeas, 3 nays. Motion carries.
Motion carries. We have on the floor to pass the motion as amended. Is there any further discussion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Councilor Boone?
Yes.
Councilor Boudreau?
Yes.
Councilor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Councilor Ronald Cormier?
Yes.
Councilor Donalowitz?
Yes.
Councilor Graves?
Yes.
Councilor Harder?
Yes.
Councilor Mack?
Yes.
Councilor Tyros?
Yes.
Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
President Kaczynskis?
Yes.
11 yeas.
The motion carries. Moving to new business, Councilor Harder.
Nothing this week, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Boudreau.
Nothing new this evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Boudreau. Councilor Donalowitz.
Nothing this week, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Boone.
Just have a happy and safe Thanksgiving to everybody. And that's all I have. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Graves.
No new city council business. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Mack.
Nothing this evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Tyros.
Nothing new this evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Craig Cormier.
I have nothing this evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Walsh.
Yes, at the Finance Committee meeting earlier today, the mayor informed us of some good news. I think the city has been preparing, closing its books and preparing to set a tax rate for the current fiscal year, right on estimates for the time being. And that should be being presented to the council next year, or next month rather, excuse me. The good news was that the mayor indicated that he had planned on a conservative amount of new taxation on new construction or new growth in the amount of $200,000. When in fact the numbers that were approved by the Department of Revenue on Friday indicate that new growth will likely be in the range of $250,000. So that's a good sign for the city, good sign for our budgetary process, and we can look forward to setting a tax rate sometime next month so that actual tax bills can go out for the third quarter. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Ron Cormier?
I have nothing. Thank you, Madam President. Good evening.
Thank you, Counselor. I have no new business. I will entertain a motion to adjourn after the closing prayer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Boudreaux, seconded by Counselor Dernalowitz. Is there discussion? The clerk will please call the roll. Ooh, I think, Mr. Clark, I think you are frozen.
You,
Hi, Ellen.
No, he's still frozen.
Well, Madam President, if I may, if the clerk can't get back on, you can certainly call the roll.
I will call the roll. Thank you, Counselor Walsh. Counselor Hardin?
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux?
Yes.
Counselor Dernalowitz?
Yes.
Counselor Boone?
Yes.
Counselor Graves?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Tyros?
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Counselor Ron Cormier?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. The motion carries.
And the clerk is back.
And he's back. And
You're muted, Alan.
Alan, I took the roll call and it was 11 yeas.
I'm sorry, you have to do it over again. I'm just kidding. Thank you all. Thank you. No, it completely disconnected my, City Hall has a horrible connection for some reason. I don't know why. It should be, but it's not a good connection, so thank you.
Good night, all.
We still need to rise for the closing prayer.
Oh. Want to miss that.
Almighty Father, we cease for all. As we adjourn, we thank thee for the opportunity of joint deliberation and action witnessed during this meeting. Bless, O Lord, all who are gathered here and the people whose representatives we are, and do thou attend to our common welfare until our next meeting. Amen.
Amen.
Good night, all.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.